Hello everyone, and welcome back to Let's Play Hearts of Iron 4, the New Order, Last Days of Europe, with me, Alpha Pi Omega, and Empire of Japan. So in the last episode, we started drilling of our entire army, and I think we've also repositioned our navy. I'm not sure if we did that in the last episode or the one before, but things are starting to look pretty good. The economy is starting to look pretty nice. Our debt to GDP is dropping. However, I know how quickly things can get out of control. So whatever kind of preparation we can do here before we hit the fan face first and get shredded, it will be good. Now, I also wanted to mention that you guys kept suggesting things regarding the design of, self-propelled artillery and anti-air. So I went back and I tested it, and now it's working. I don't know what I did before, if I did something completely wrong or not, but now it's working. I think maybe it is a bad idea. Did I try to change the tank? I don't know. Something I did was wrong. Or maybe the game was bugging out for a moment, but now when we go and we give the heavy artillery weapon on the main battle tank, it allows the self-propelled artillery function. And if we put in the heavy anti-air, it also works. So we can, I can show it here. We have the anti-air. So I'm thinking that what we could do here is do just that, so that we can start slowly producing those for our Taishin Shudan. We discussed in the previous episode that we would like to give them some anti-air and artillery support, and I think giving them two of self-propelled and two self-propelled anti-air and two of self-propelled artillery would be great. Now, I don't know if we have enough army experience to do that though, so let us test it together and we'll see. So, if we give you the heavy artillery weapon, I'd like to give you the 3-man turret because that helps with the breakthrough. We'll give you the artillery. This is of... Wait, is it... No, we want the welded armor. And that in itself is an issue. Okay, would it work if we went and switched the Type 23 Chiwa? Yeah, it's working even here. So I don't know why it didn't work. And it would cost only 1 experience point here. Reliability goes down. Everything goes down, really. Except for suppression. Equipment tag. What does this one do? Here you can classify your designs to organize them and allow for more specific reinforcements of your divisions. Oh, okay. Well, that's interesting. We get a smoke launcher here. Defense and breakthrough. Those are the two things that we're getting penalty to, isn't it? Because artillery actually changes. No, it lowers breakthrough, but it gives suppression. So really, this is just the heavy artillery not being all that great compared to the main battle tank cannon, which... Okay, you're giving a lot of soft attack, so let's use you as a basic thing. So you get defense and breakthrough. Okay, we'll keep the breakthrough in and defense in. I don't mind that. Reliability and fuel usage is also good. And okay, well, this match will work well. So we can call this type 101. Well, let's call it Sapporo, and it's gonna be our artillery design. You have gasoline engine, welded and torsion bar. Auto upgrade. Well, we don't need that. So this is a separate design now. Where do we have it? Type 103 or 101. So, oh wait, you don't have Okay, we need it. Why are you showing me? Oh, this is why we changed the icon. Well, I guess this one. I mean, we need to have it right away clear that it is. Oh, I didn't save that. That it is a self-propelled artillery, and we'll do another one, which is going to be the anti-air, which is going to. That's a heavy artillery here. Gives a little bit of soft attack or a bit of hard attack, but it gives a lot of air attack, and this is going to be anti-air, and we're gonna call this type 102. It cannot be so Keijo. Let's go with Keijo. That sounds pretty dope. And we have, yeah, I like this one. So type 102 Keijo. Now we need to get both of these into production because we'll want to start equipping our units with them eventually. But they're not going to be a major priority for now. We'll just add additional factories on them if we get them. And a slow production is a good production because it's going to be a while before we actually put them up into the field. I just want to see what would happen at this point if we added them to our units. So this one would add soft attack, hard attack, hardness. Air attack would go up by 4.5. It would go to 39.5. Okay, so that is definitely a good choice. And if we gave you the self-propelled artillery, that one would give us extra breakthrough defense, soft attack, suppression and fuel capacity, but also a lot of penalties to attack, but none so major that it would be a complete bust. Fuel usage, weight. Okay, if we remove this one in lieu of logistics company. Okay, the combat width is already 24. Okay. Let me just see if I changed this one into just anti-air. Yep, it is way worse. Okay. But also the combat width is a way lower breakthrough. Air attack -3. Because I mean, we could easily put 2 of those here and get the more air attack. Potentially even go like this. Hard attack, air attack would be insane. Defense would also be insane. So that's the question. No, this one just provides more boom, but less air attack. Well, we'll have to think about it. But for now, we've designed those. So let us unpause and continue. We're missing rubber. That one is gonna balance itself out. The production of fuel is going up. I think we had like 180 oil or 184 oil before, and now we have 20 more. So is that an actual result? Yeah, okay, we get 15 here now. I wonder if that is the result. I haven't checked it before. That kind of sucks. I should have checked if there was anything there. But 15 oil is pretty good. I like it. No divisions in basic training. Available are points in reserve. That's fine. Carrier, and jet transports. It's also a fleet of 100, but the transport points are going to be useful when we get to them. So army experience is increasing. Economy is going well. Yeah, we're gonna hit 99 point something next month, most likely, and the year of suppose is okay. Debt servicing is still pretty high though, but you know, what do we expect? We're getting in political power, so things are looking good. Friends of friends in the right places. Smoke from the chief detective's cigarette wafted towards the ceiling as he leaned back in his office chair. It rippled past the frosted glass windows that separated his office from the common area that housed the desks of the department's officers and detectives. Two of such detectives sat in front of him now, each in an uncomfortable metal chair half a meter away from the hulking mass of polished wood that served as the chief's desk. One was Senior Detective Kodaira, a long-standing veteran of the Tokyo police, his age beginning to show in the wrinkles around his eyes and the dusting of gray hairs on his head. The other was a younger man transferred from a department in Osaka named Tachi. He had served as an officer for a number of years prior, followed by a handful more as a detective. While his senior remained somewhat relaxed in his chair, the younger detective leaned forward to speak. "What I'm trying to say, sir," he began, "is that given the circumstances, it would make sense to establish an informal network inside key offices beforehand rather than try to build a network of contacts as we go along." The chief tapped his cigarette on the rim of a glass ashtray, one of the few things that sat on his otherwise barren desk. "What do you mean by informal?" he asked. "Unofficial connections, mostly," Kodaira interjected. "Former contacts for old cases, friends of friends, old army buddies, whatever. People who we could ask to take care of the pen and paper tasks that bureaucrats are usually not so motivated to do. All with the understanding that their effort is deeply appreciated by the Tokyo Police Service, who will happily remember or forget their contributions depending on what they prefer." And because of the rather sensitive nature of the operation, Tachi said, "We think it's best to limit our network to one major government working group. Otherwise we risk alerting the conspirators if they find out half of their office goes down for coffee at the station once a week. For our purposes we recommend either the Army, Navy or Diet Administration, sir." Okay, Paper Tiger. So we now have decision available. I think we're gonna try to improve our relations with the technocrats, because we really need to get the relations up. You know, it would be good if we had them at least at 50% all. Showa no Hi. Oh, then extra political power. Rejoice and cheer carried through the streets of Empire of Japan in celebration of the birthday of Emperor Showa. His Imperial Majesty New Year of Life is commemorated by all from Taiwan to Hokkaido in a festival honoring the age of peace, fraternity and cooperation Japan and its Asian brothers now live in. During the reign of Emperor Showa, the empire had grown in strength and in size to international superpower status. Now, no one dares challenge Japan like they did before the rule of His Imperial Majesty. It was under his rule that the empire had won against imperialism in the Greater East Asian War, and under his rule that the mighty co-prosperity sphere was founded to preserve his sacred peace. Millions gathered to observe the holidays in public or at home to wish good health upon the emperor, so that the prosperous and just rule may continue long into the future. Long live the emperor. So, how's our score here? Still third of the three major powers, but I think our economy is going to grow. Yep, we are almost better than the United States of America. Germany is soon going to descend into chaos after Hitler's death. And I don't remember what happens in the United States. I think not much, really. They don't get a civil war, I think, but I cannot remember. I'm sometimes confusing it with Kaiserreich, so it's kind of hard to figure out which one is here and which one is there. You know, the usual. Oh, who is this? Is that Mexico? Or just trade partner? Or is that Italy? No. So who has this cover? Large street partner. Does it say it here? That is the Italian tricolor. Would that be Libya then, or someone? No. There has to be someone connected to Italy. Nope. Damn, wait. I think we can see it over here in the trade. Because we should be able to trade Governatore del Golfo. Okay, so these guys are part of the colonial government of Italy. Okay, so you guys are our biggest trading partner, Enrico Mattei. They probably swim in oil over there, because Governatore del Golfo. Wait, over here. There's the resources. So resistance, operatives here. Oh yeah, 175. So we're importing massive amounts of fuel from there. Paper tigers. The chief detective sat behind his desk, carefully flicking through his row of contact cards. Each card was given at least a moment's worth of attention, enough to read the name stamped on it in black ink. Most then were immediately flicked past and forgotten, but a few were worthy of another moment of consideration, and a fewer still made the detective pause altogether. He searched for the names of people in the same way one would search for the name of a street. Okay, so we got 3 civilian factories. Actually, I wanted to check, are we still... Nope, we forgot to set the passive defense up for another upgrade. Okay, that gives us a bit of time to continue. He searched for the names of people in the same way one would search for the names of a street. Unconcerned with the memories, thoughts, and feelings related to the names, only their usefulness as a path from one place to another. But the roads he sought led to the hearts of the imperial monolith, and were neither easily found nor traversed. Doubly so in the case of Tax Bureau and the Board of Audit. The Tax Bureau was the attack dog of the Ministry of Finance. Many aspiring gang leaders or captains of industry had their dreams dashed by the discerning gaze and careful calculations of its agents. The Bureau demanded information in torrents of paperwork for accuracy, consistency, and redundancy, and had amassed a hoard of data in an impossibly intricate filing system. It neared an intelligence agency in its own right, devoted to the single purpose of following and securing the revenue of the empire. By contrast, the Board of Audit was a reclusive agency shunned by the ministries of the cabinet. This made little difference to its officials. In some sense, it was preferable. They existed to examine the finances and records of the various public institutions that spread around the empire. But the board's position in the hierarchy was artificial. In a sense, they reported to the Diet but were subordinate only to the emperor, while they acted with the divine purpose in exposing the subversives who exploited the empire for personal gain, and had done so in the past from time to time. In recent years, the office had fallen silent. The chief leaned back in his chair, juggling an unlit cigarette between his fingers. 2 names now sat before him, one to each office. He considered for a moment longer and then reached forward to pick up the phone. So we have a choice here. We either contact the Bureau or the Audit. I think we're gonna go with the Taxman because, they seem like a more broad institution. Universal plus is 1.2. Interest rate is 1.51. Well, things are certainly looking good. No more ships were constructed Oh no. Tremors detected in Burgundian soil. Oh, I forgot about Burgundy. I forgot about Ordenstadt, Burgundy. The Swiss Seismological Service has issued a press release with worrying news. Last night, their HQ in Zurich noted a seismological event somewhere in the Burgundian Jura that lasted 4 seconds and reached 4.6 on the Richter scale. Due to the lack of aftershock, they concluded that this is not a natural activity, but likely a man-made incident. Several Swiss radiologists have also reported a spike in airborne radiation equivalent to a mild nuclear meltdown, or an atomic air blast. Governments worldwide have arrived at one conclusion: the Burgundians have successfully tested a nuclear device, twice as strong as the one dropped on Pearl Harbor in 1945. With the shadow state remaining tight-lipped as ever, the news will likely never be confirmed. Still, it seemed that 1962 will be remembered as a dark point in history, the year Burgundy ascended to the ranks of nuclear powers. God help us all. Yep. Strength Geheim. Oh, I love that. Strength Geheim. Strength Geheim. That would be Strength. Strength Geheim. Strength Geheim. The test. Could that be the one that they did now? Strength Geheim. Adjusting to the new goals. Well, Burgundy is psychotic gameplay. You know, basically you end up starting a nuclear war with the rest of the world, or so I heard. So thank God that we don't really have to deal with them. The parallel approach. Detectives Taichi and Kodara stood under the canopy that covered the entrance to the Tokyo Central Police Station. They stood side by side, not quite facing each other, but not quite facing away, their backs to the door. Each held a cigarette, Taichi in his left hand and Kodara in his right, which they would raise to their lips every now and again. Between them, 4 cigarette butts sat crushed onto the ground. How it seems to me, said Kodara, pausing to pull on his cigarette, is that we have 2 angles to approach this case. One is through the killer himself, who he was, where he came from, how he ended up here, his tragic backstory, all that nonsense. The other is through the circumstances of the killing. Why did it happen where it did, when it did, and in the way that it did? And you think it's a matter of picking the right one? Taichi asked. That's just it, replied Kodera, eagerly inhaling another puff. If there really is a conspiracy, or at least one going further than we found already, then none of those details would have been left to chance. What I mean is, it's not just about where those angles lead, it's about where they overlap. Taichi turned to look at him. So what do you suggest? He asked. 2 teams, each of us leading one. One focuses on the criminal, the other on the crime. We keep the specifics local to our teams, but you and I meet privately to discuss, compare and coordinate. Maximum coverage, minimal risk. And you know how much I enjoy rooting through the personal effects of the deranged and disturbed, Kodaira said with a smirk. But I think I'll let you take the lead in that one respect, seeing as you've yet to have the chance since you got here. Consider this an impromptu field lecture on Tokyo's criminal psychology, he said, bringing the remains of a cigarette back to his lips. Taichi flashed a quick smile in reply, before he dropped the smoldering end of a cigarette on the ground and crushed it beneath the sole of his scuffed leather shoe. That settles it then. I really wonder what this is gonna lead, because it's so vastly different from the start of this story in Germania, where you really focus on Hitler and what's going on. But it makes me literally shiver with fear, because whatever conspiracy is happening here, it is probably very serious, and we're gonna uncover quite a lot of it. My mind is, wrought with images of Chinese communists trying to overthrow or kill the emperor or something like that. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. So political power is increasing, so is stability. How are we doing with... Okay, we're missing some factories over here. So that means, yep, the transport helicopters are not being produced, but it's okay. That is actually okay. Knowing what we don't know. 5 men crowded around the worn table in the meeting room of the ward police station. 3 were police officers, each clad in the dark blue uniform and carrying a shining badge of office in a clip at their waist. The other 2 were detectives, Tachi and other recent transferred to the team. All of them leaned over a collage of files, documents and pictures, carefully arranged in a half circle around the picture of Takahara Ryo. Well, that would be Takahara Ryo. So in total, said Tachi, the other 4 men turning to face him as he spoke, we know 3 central things about Takahara here. First, that he killed Yoshikage Shinji in a very specific manner, despite no apparent relation between them. Second, he is a member of the armed forces, very likely the army. And third, he had a half-brother in the Tokyo police force willing to assist him. The rest of the group nodded in reply. So that gives us 2 major avenues of investigation, he continued. We have the military angle, finding out what the military knew about him and what he did for them. Or we can cover the basics as we would in a normal case, establish a broader background, get a general sense of who he was as a person, what his social groups were, his habits, and so on. Regardless, our goal is to construct a motivation from his prior actions, and from there try and form a reasonable connection to further parties. 3 of the other men nodded again, but the 4th, a bright-eyed young officer from the south, cleared his throat to speak. Sir, given the circumstances of that case, that is, the fact that the suspect had a brother in the police, should we consider that an angle of investigation too? Tachi hesitated a moment before replying. At this stage we are missing so much of the basic facts of the case that I don't think we can make real headway in a related internal investigation at the moment. If there is more to be found inside the force, going in blind will only make finding it more difficult. So with all that being said, I propose we... So that's a good question. And the military route that would look at what the military knew about him and what he did for them. I think that's going to be a bit more important for us. Take the military route. I wonder where he worked. Oh, napalm from Indonesia. Imperial Japanese Army. Shonan Marai Guisebu. Sionanto. Attention to IJA General Staff. Offshore deployment of air assets. First, continuing hostilities in the area under the control of the Guiseibu and threatening airfields of the Malay Peninsula. I don't think you guys are at war with anyone, are you? No, but you're probably gonna descend into utter chaos soon. Because this is like the third report we're getting. Paramilitary forces cannot provide sufficient rear security. Airfields on Sionanto proper can accommodate air assets in the event of general withdrawal, but with substantial overcrowding, sortie rates will be less than optimal for an effective defense of positions. Airfields 3. Airfields under the control of the Imperial Japanese Armed Forces and the Indonesian military on Sumatra are ideally positioned to serve as secondary deployment occasions, both to increase sortie rates in regular conditions and as fallback positions should they become necessary. See attached. 4. However, general disrepair and lack of facilities in indicated airfields requires urgent repair and expansion to become fully operational. Cost and manpower estimates attached. 5. Request authorization to allocate budgetary funding and Romusha allocations to begin refurbishment work on identified military facilities. So we can authorize the expansion, which will cost us $250 million, but we get 2 air bases, and Republic of Indonesia government forces are strengthened. Let's do that. Debt to GDP is now 100.5. Oh, wait. Yeah, we got this. So let me put more in you. That should allow us to start production of the things as well. Right, 67. Okay. So we're now producing 2 self-propelled artillery pieces and self-propelled anti-air pieces per month. We're gonna give it to about 1.5 per week based on this. Okay, I can actually upgrade some over here. We could potentially assign more factory from some of these anti-tank missiles and stuff like that. But we'll see. Okay, the infantryman's caretakers. As expected, securing Takahara's military files was no simple matter. The Imperial General Headquarters, the administrative office that straddled the chasm. Okay, that's a weird sentence. That the strategy chasm between the army administration was initially willing to cooperate with the investigation without much bother, but in reality they could merely point the investigation towards the relevant branch. In this case, the army, who maintained sole administrative responsibility over Takahara's files. From then on, the efforts of the team were completely subject to the whims of the IJA Personnel Bureau. For days on end, the desk workers of the investigative team filled out forms, made phone calls, issued requests, resubmitted forms, all while making sure to file everything in triplicate. No amount of pressure or intimidation seemed to have any effect on the staff either. Such efforts were met with monotonous voices over phone calls and glazed eye in person. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, a courier arrived early one morning, clutching a package sealed in black plastic cover. After he checked and rechecked Detective Tachi's ID, he reluctantly handed him the package before retreating back to the Tokyo streets. The package contained Takahara's basic military files, including those regarding his recruitment evaluation, training, and performance records. The files confirmed much of what was already suspected. Takahara had joined almost immediately after finishing school and was quickly sent to basic training. There he passed his training regime without issue and was cleared for active service. His psychological and performance reports revealed more noteworthy information. However, his superiors regarding him as jumpy and even at times overly eager. But he was also praised for his quick adherence to orders and lack of hesitation in simulated combat. The last of the files stated that he had been stationed in northern Indonesia a year ago as part of the Imperial Security Battalion deployed to the region, but they offered no further insights to his role or his more recent actions. Persistence is key when dealing with the army. Okay, well, now we are starting to know a little bit more. So, Indonesia. Kind of interesting to see it pop up over and over again. Well, anyway, thank you very much for joining me for this episode, and I'll see you in the next one, where we are going to continue. And I actually want to look a bit at the army here, because we haven't really interacted with them at all, and I think we should really start learning the paranoia a lot. Yep. And actually, it seems like a good idea. So anyway, see you there.